Welcome back to Cooking with 99 Ranch. I'm Matthew again, and we're gonna be making Rouzao Fan, or what is it called in English? Minced pork? No, it's not minced pork. Ground pork rice, I guess. Yeah. First off, for your ground pork braised rice, you will need ground pork. This is bought all at 99 Ranch, and I got 3 pounds because we are making party-sized portions. After that, scallions. My bad, shallots, you're right, those are shallots. Garlic, some shiitake mushrooms. These will be rehydrated. And then we have soy sauce and Shaoxing wine. More rock sugar, because everything in Chinese cooking is a little bit sweet, as it should be. And of course, can't make Rouzao Fan without some spices. Here we have 5-spice powder and white pepper. For garnishes at the top, we have a little bit of cilantro and green onions. Let's get started. So the first step is pretty easy. Got to prepare our shallots and garlic. So first things first, open your bag. My knife is not very sharp. Grab a shallot, peel. The minced pork rice is a very traditional and very well known, I think, Taiwanese dish. And it's really simple, easy to make, great for parties, and great if you forgot to make something and really just need to put something together really quickly. So first things first, cut your shallots. How you cut it is basically up to personal preference. You can dice them, you can fine mince them, you can chop them, you can
boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
Throw the shallot in whole if you want, I guess. I like to cut them a little thinner and then dice them because I don't like big chunks of shallot when I cook this. I really should have sharpened my knife before I did this. For the portion we're making, 3 pounds, which should be enough to feed roughly 10 people, I think, we will need 3 shallots. Once again, with all Asian cooking, everything is feeling. Of course, we gotta feed Greenie.
Oh, Greenie.
Good boy. All right, once the shallots are all nice and diced, I set them to the side, have a wok ready for everything later, and then we'll move on to the garlic. Once again, it's really up to feel. How garlicky do you want your food? I keep seeing online a bunch of life hacks on how to properly open garlic, and I think Steph actually did it in her video too. I have a life hack for everybody here. It's called, ta-da! Garlic and stuff is all really preference and taste. Because this is a very traditional Asian recipe, and I tend to use a lot. Cut and prepare the garlic however you want. My grandma actually cuts them really thick and then just throws them in. I personally don't like that. I like to mince mine a little more because I like not having a giant clump of garlic, though I do love the taste of it. So the next thing you need to do is just soak shiitake mushrooms. Make sure that they're nice and covered. This is hot water. I don't know why I use my bare hands for that. Then we're just gonna let these sit in the water for roughly 20 minutes. So after your mushrooms are all nice and rehydrated, just squeeze out any extra water. If there's too much, careful, they will be a little hot. So I rinse them under a little more cold water just to cool them out a little. Just kind of chop up some, kind of eyeball it. I like mushrooms in my Rouzao Fan, so we will use a little more. Cut them to whatever size you want. Rouzao Fan, because it is ground pork instead of the diced ones, it's going to be very fine. I like my mushrooms being a little smaller because you don't want big chunks of anything in this really. So after your mushrooms are cut, I did 2 here because that looks like how much I'm used to cooking with. After that, move over to the stove. So start off by adding a bit of extra virgin olive oil, just enough where the bottom of the pan is coated enough. Make sure to get it all around the pan. And then you're gonna wanna turn the heat on to high. Just go ahead and add your shallots and garlic. Nice little sizzle there. Stir that around a little bit, make sure everything is nice and cooked. And you're just gonna wanna cook this until everything is nice and browned. And then after that's just nice and a little cooked, go ahead and add your mushrooms in. Oh, missed a little bit there. And you just wanna make sure you get that nice, evenly cooked. And then now we're ready for the ground pork. This here we have 2 bags of 99 Ranch ground pork. There we go, straight in the pan. And then you're just gonna wanna cook this all until the meat is all nice and cooked through. So after the meat is nice and browned, which I had to do very carefully because my wok is a little bit overflowing. But that's good because we're making a party portion for a lot of people. Hopefully this is for a potluck or a big family dinner of some sort. You're gonna want to add in the soy sauce and Shaoxing wine. Pop open the fresh 99 Ranch brand organic soy sauce here. I should have taken this off earlier. Oh no. Oh boy. Got it. There we go. I did it. I did it. No child is getting into these. Only the smartest of adults, which I barely qualify for. You're gonna wanna add your soy sauce. Again, just to taste. I usually add a good heaping amount, just until you can see it kind of add to the color of your sauce. There you go, that should be enough. Depends on how salty you like it, how soy saucy you like it. And then, nice portion of Shaoxing wine, which just cooks out the kind of porky flavor. Some people don't really like the pork flavor, I do. So just gonna add, that's what, 2 shots? A couple tablespoons. Just until there's a nice little layer of liquid in there. Something for the meat to simmer in. Now for the flavor. We have the white pepper powder and 5-spice powder. Pop that open. Wabam. Usually you add a good couple teaspoons to it, but once again, since everything here is vibes and feeling, I kind of just, not too much, just a little. There we go. That's enough. Probably a tablespoon and a half. And then white pepper powder. This stuff is pretty strong actually, at least I think so. I don't like adding too much, so just a little bit of white pepper powder. That came out way faster than I thought, but that is enough. And then finally, our friend, the rock sugar. Add in maybe a handful of this, just a little bit to add some sweetness. Chinese cooking, much like Chinese loving, is all about a little bit of sweet, a lot of love added, and just a little bit of spice. Get that all nice and mixed in. The sugar should dissolve and incorporate. You can still see the rock sugar. You want to wait for that to dissolve out. Once you have the nice little layer of that going, you can reduce your heat down to a simmer. And then once you reduce it to a simmer, this is an optional thing. I have pre-boiled some eggs already here. You can add a couple eggs in here, and the longer you simmer it for, the more flavor will go into the eggs. Get them nice and mixed in with the sauce. Everything in this recipe is just letting it stew, letting the flavors sit and get in there. Let that simmer over a low heat for usually an hour. It depends on how well you want the eggs done. And that's pretty much it. The other great thing about this recipe is that it's actually pretty cheap to make, especially with all of the 99 Ranch brands that I bought. I think total, this came out to be like maybe 30 bucks for that huge portion. I can feed like 10 to 20 people. So overall, it's a great recipe to make. And we're done with the Rouzao Fan. This is actually just my family recipe. My grandma would make this for me almost every day when I went to her house after school because we would hang out there a lot. So shout out to Grandma Xing. Thank you for the recipes. Thank you very much. Very simple but very delicious dish. Do not sleep on dishes like this. Sometimes the easiest and most generic dishes of the culture are that way for a reason. This is delicious and one of my favorite Asian dishes, honestly. There we go. There you have Rouzao Fan. 吃饭了. That is, I don't want to pat myself on the back too much, but that does taste almost exactly like what my grandma used to feed me every day. So I think I did a pretty good job. That came out really good. The minced pork comes through really well. It's very soft. If you have braised it enough, the pork is like really, really soft. It's almost like part of the soup itself. And with the rice, it's like not too salty. So it's a perfect mix of like savory, a little bit of sweet with the rock sugar. The spices come through just enough where you can taste the 5-spice powder and the white pepper. The flavor did soak through the egg just enough. And overall, it's just a very like nostalgic recipe. It really brings me back to like hanging out with my grandma as a kid and happier times. Wow, that came out really dark actually. Hopefully you guys follow this recipe and enjoy it as well. I hope you love it as much as I do.